point at which you would have said, this is too much, I'm out of here?
Willis read excerpts of love letter after love letter she exchanged with McNeil while they were both in federal prison.
What does he say right here?
I love you, sweetheart, and we'll write again soon.
Despite the sentiments in the letters, Willis testified she was scared of reuniting with McNeil after prison.
And isn't it true that you told investigators that you could not see yourself being with Martin any further, and the idea of being with him terrified you?
I found myself in prison for 2 years as a result of being with this guy, and that was terrifying to me.
Is there any point at which you would have said, this is too much, I'm out of here?
Well, he did. He threw me in prison, and that was enough. That's what that was.
How did he throw you in prison?
Well, I had done all of the things that he'd asked me to do, believing that he knew what was going to be all right.
Okay, and you said, look, he said to you, which one of us has a law degree, right? But you don't need a law degree to know that using someone else's identity, using someone else's social security number to evade getting on the radar screen of the government when you now have access to money, or for any other reason. You don't need a law degree to know that that is a crime.
I do. I know.
So
we argued about that. I did question him, and I thought, again, love is blind. I thought he knew best.
You cut a deal for some modified immunity to testify against him at trial, correct?
Modified immunity.
Did you make a deal with the prosecutors?
To testify?
Yes.
The deal that I made with the state of Utah was that when they brought state charges for the same activity that we had done federally, because they're considered separate courts, so they can charge you both ways, rather than doing another state sentence, one of the criteria was that I would be willing to testify against Martin in any legal situations that might come up. At that point, there were no charges filed.
Did you testify against him at trial?
I did.
And what was the most damning thing that you testified about?
Our relationship was the damning situation there.
Which brings us full circle back to you became motive.
That's what they say.
The prosecution said when you put pieces of the puzzle together and take a step back, it's easy to see the big picture.
Martin's secret life with Gypsy Willis was beginning to intersect with his life with Michelle. He was going to have to make a choice between Michelle or Gypsy.
I have a hard time with that, Dr. Phil.
I understand. But they used you as motive.
They used me as motive, yes.
They said because he was involved with you, in love with you,
yes,
he needed to get rid of her.
That's
and
what
that
they
was
say.
his motive. And this surgery that she went through was his opportunity. And so they've got motive and opportunity, and he's been convicted. Whose decision was it to send his 16-year-old daughter, Giselle, out of the country and back to the Ukraine?
I think it was a family decision, actually. In the year prior to Michelle's passing, they had found a living sister in Ukraine, and so they had been corresponding back and forth, and Giselle wanted to go live with her sister. Mm-hmm. So this was considerable time before Michelle's passing that they had made these arrangements.
Right, and the reports say that once she got there, she couldn't get back home.
When she got there, Martin had doubled the family's income, and he spoke to her frequently, at least once a week.
Did she have any idea that you had stolen her identity?
No.
Because it just seems beyond coincidental that she gets shipped off, you take her identity, and it seems like he got rid of two. Killed his wife and shipped his daughter. You took her identity and moved into his wife's house.
Well, not in that order. It was. We thought about this after the fact,
yeah,
after all these things.
You understand there is a pattern.
Yes, I understand, and it looks awful. And I'm sorry.